Hello everybody and welcome to JTech 95. This machine right here was a project where I truly believed I bit off more than I could chew. This is the AT&T model XP-1076. It's a 386 based system running at 20 megahertz. I picked up this machine in a listing on eBay quite a while ago. I've mentioned it before in videos in the past that I had this and I was working on it. This was a nightmare to get working. The power supply didn't work, and the thing is very proprietary and it's unlike anything else I've ever seen. And I almost hesitate to call it an AT or IBM PC clone. It's odd. Yes, the basic elements are there, but this thing is very weird. And we'll get into why as we dive into the machine in this video. And I know it says AT&T right here, but this machine was actually built by a different company. And some of you may have heard of them, some of you may have not. If you live in Europe, you probably have. The company was called Olivetti. But we'll get more into that, the history of this machine, what its overseas counterpart was, similarities between the two, what I had to do to get the stinking thing to work, and lots of other cool little things about this machine in this video today. So let's kick back and hang tight, and we'll dive into the AT&T or Olivetti 386 DX20 system, this time on JTech 95. Welcome back to JTech 95. So yeah, like I said in the little intro there, we're going to be going over this AT&T machine. I had that poll last week asking a lot of my viewers, what would you like to see next? There was several options. There was this, and the wood grain 386 was another one. Yeah, we'll get into that at a future episode. But the winner of the poll was the AT&T. So we're going to be doing a video on that. As I said, this machine was not in great shape. It was in quite a state of disrepair. So I had to do quite a bit to get the thing working. It works now, and I'm happy with it. But yeah, it was it was an adventure. It was a several month-long adventure. So without further ado, let's pop the machine open, look at the internals, and see what I'll show you what I had to do to get it working. But first, let's go back in time and look at a little bit of the history of this machine and its parent company, Olivetti, and go into that a little bit. So I'll let Sarah take it from here.
The XP-1076 is an AT&T branded version of the M380 series of personal computer systems from the Italian company Olivetti. The M380s were a line of professional-grade PCs released between the late 1980s and early 1990s. Olivetti produced many different computers which AT&T then licensed and sold in the US under their own brand name. The XP-1076 is one such model. An interesting side note concerning the M380 was its involvement in the experimental Pandora project, an early multimedia system developed in conjunction with the University of Cambridge. The XP-1076 is marketed for high-end business applications and was designed around the Intel 386DX microprocessor, with speeds varying from 16 MHz to 33 MHz depending on the specific model variation. They typically came with 4 megabytes of RAM, but were expandable using proprietary memory cards and SIMs. They were available with a wide array of different hard disks and floppy drives to choose from, and either integrated or expansion card-based VGA graphics were standard. The systems also included a mix of 8-bit and 16-bit ISA slots, as well as some 32-bit proprietary expansion slots primarily used for RAM expansion cards. Finally, these machines often required a specific customer test diskette or setup software to configure the BIOS settings, as there was no built-in ROM-based setup utility.
Now that we've got the history section of the video out of the way and all said and done, let's take this puppy apart. It's a mess, but you'll see what I mean. So we'll start here at the back of the machine. As you can see, it's got a massive honking cooling fan. We got the 2 power connectors here, one for a monitor, one for the machine. There are deep-seated stains in this case I have yet to get completely cleaned off, but that will be done at some point. You can see here's the plate up here. There we go. Model XP-1076, serial number 7157099, made in Italy. Down here, this connector right here is for keyboard. I know that looks like a serial port, but it's not. In order to use a keyboard with this machine, you either need an original Olivetti or AT&T branded keyboard. I didn't have one, and I didn't want to pay the price online for one that worked. So I had to make this adapter right here. I really need to put some around it, but basically, using a diagram of the pinout for the keyboard connector on the Olivettis, and comparing that with the outline of an AT style keyboard, I had to physically make this adapter to go from AT to a serial style 9-pinned in. And it worked, so that's what I had to do for that. Down here we've got parallel serial. I have a sound card in here. It's a Sound Blaster 2.0, and we got a video card right here, and over here we had 2 interesting looking cards, but we'll get the case open and we'll show you what's in there. First we have to take the case apart, and to do that we have to take out these several screws. So let's do that really quick. Once you get those screws taken out, the front of the case just slides off like so. And this is screwed into that too, so this kind of flops out of the way. So we'll set those to the side here. Now we have the machine opened up. Let's look inside. So starting off with the internals, we look down here at the motherboard. It looks pretty plain Jane. There's a reason for that. This is a 2-part motherboard. You see this card right here? It's kind of like a riser card. This is the top part of the motherboard. Underneath is the other side. I'll put it on its side here so you can see what I mean. Kind of tricky to get off, but basically you take out these 4 screws and the front end slides off. Let's do that really quick so I can show you what's in there. There we go. Here's the other side of the motherboard. See, it connects to the other end of this riser here. Now we can see the inside of this, the main part of the motherboard, a lot better. The processor is an Intel 386DX running at 20 megahertz, no math coprocessor. See quite a few bodge wires on this, PALs, GALs. Here's the 2 BIOS chips. Yeah, this is an interesting one. And actually, if I flip the phone over, I can show you here. Olivetti P1078 BA818 revision P1. Yeah, you can see a lot of marks of its original manufacturer all over it, including on this chip right here, Olivetti. So, yeah, this right here is an interesting thing to point out. This is the PC speaker. You see this little switch right here? Believe it or not, that's volume control for the PC speaker. If we look here on the bottom plate for the machine, there's this little knob, dog hair, pardon me. There's this little knob. It hooks to that switch, or that lever, so we can adjust the volume of the PC speaker. So it's not loud enough, you can turn it up. If it's too loud, you can turn it down, you know. So that comes in handy. Oops. Yeah. Then the key lock right there. Now let's flip this thing back on its side. Oh, also this is the floppy disk cable connector. Let's flip this back down. Show you the inside. So as you can see here, we have a dual 5¼ and 3½ inch floppy drive. That's what came with it. It uses an oddball style of drive legs or arms, rails. So this was already in it when I got it. The hard drive, I had to fiddle with it to make it work. I had to make a bracket and bolt it in the back there, and I had to make this one. I know it's ugly, I know it is, but it's the only way I could get the hard drive to stay still. And yes, I wrote down the model of the computer on my hand because I couldn't find a piece of paper, and I didn't feel like going to the back to read what the model was if I forgot. My memory is sometimes not the greatest. But yeah, I know that's ugly, but you can't see it when the cover's on. And I don't have a 3D printer to make rails, so you know what? It'll do. The hard drive in it is a Quantum ProDrive 40AT. It's about a 40 meg hard drive, which is just fine for a 386 of this age. Here's the CMOS battery, which connects right there. Now as for these cards, the first one here will start from the right side, then we'll get into the power supply. The drive right here is a model DT3767 IDE and floppy controller card. I have the floppy section disabled on the card since it's using the one on the motherboard. Next card here, as you can see, is a Sound Blaster CT1350B. It's a Sound Blaster 2.0. The video card right here, I cannot remember the brand of it. I honestly don't know if I ever looked it up. All I know is the main chip is a CHIPS. It's an F82C451. It's not a very fast video card at all, but for this machine, it worked with it, and considering how slow the machine is, I was like, I don't need anything crazy. These two cards are the RAM expansion cards. And as you can see, just from looking at them, they're both fully maxed out. This machine has a total of 8 megabytes of RAM, which was unheard of at the time this machine was made. Whoever had this machine before, I'd be willing to bet this thing was used for AutoCAD or something. Just something that required a lot of extra memory. Either way, it's an interesting machine. Now let's get into the power supply. I do not want to take it back out. This machine is an absolute pain in the... I'll just say it's a pain in the balls to take apart. But I have another power supply very similar to that one, and I can show you why it was such a pain to get it working. Here is the same kind of power supply. These are the connector cables. First off, I'll show you in here how these work. Let's see. Mine does not have this. Honestly, not sure. what this does. But we're going to pop it off here just so this can make a little more. Is this bolted on? Yes, it is. Oh well, we're just gonna leave it on there. Doesn't hurt. Anyway, you can see these connectors here in the front of the power supply. These two pins right here are positive 12 and negative 12 volts. This one I'm not sure what it does. This is ground. This is positive 5 volts. This and this are to hook up the Molex connectors. Here we go. As you can see, they have connectors like this. They just slide in to those as so. And then the Molex connectors go to the various things on the board. You have two of them. One is supposed to be for hard drives, and the other one is for the motherboard and floppies. It's interesting. So if I look in here, you can see down in there. You can see down in there where I'm pointing, you have the red wire bolted to the motherboard there and the black one bolted there. That's ground and positive 5 volts. This right here is the connector going to the fan. And then you have two Molexes plugged into the motherboard down here. And the positive 12 and negative 12 right there. This right here is the... Oh, excuse me, no. This one right here is for the hard disk drive activity light. That one down there, the black and red one, that's for the fan. So as you can see, this is an odd setup for this power supply. It's a 110 volt power supply made by Olivetti, made in Italy. And if you look inside, the power supply has two boards and they're connected by wires. What ended up happening was this power supply didn't work. So what it turned out to be was bad solder joints. So I reflowed the solder joints. I had to replace a couple of the capacitors. And I believe I also replaced the relay. And I finally got it working, but just the setup design of this machine was far different from anything I'd ever done before. So that took a long time, and not with my schedule, it didn't help. So yeah, as you can see, this is very different than your standard AT compatible. But it works. I'm happy with it. So there's the ins and outs of what it took to get this thing working and some of the headaches that it took to get the thing working. I'm just glad it's finished, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah, when I was testing out this machine, and I was having problems with the power supply, I ended up having to rig up a standard AT power supply to power the motherboards while I was doing bench testing. And I just had crocodile clipped wires, just, let's just say the table down here, it looked like Frankenstein's laboratory. It was quite a mess, and it was like that for several weeks, almost a month, as I was trying to troubleshoot and diagnose issues with the machine. I should have gotten more footage of it, but I didn't. So, sorry about that. But that's why I'm kind of going through here. But let me tell you, if I had recorded the entire process of rebuilding and restoring this machine, the video would have easily been upwards of 2 hours. So it was not a short fix it up, boot it up, and be done kind of project, I can tell you that. Before I forget, if you want to see a video that's a lot more in-depth as to the internals and how these things work and restoration and all that, check out the channel TiBo's Retro Computers. He's a really cool YouTuber. His videos is what really helped me getting this thing working, watching what he did and what he had to do to get these systems working. He has a several part video series. I think it was 2 episodes, might have been 3. It's been a little while, I can't remember. But anyway, he did a series on the Olivetti M380, 386 computers, which is the Italian version of this AT&T XP-1076. You see, I looked down. That's exactly why I wrote it down, because I keep on wanting to call this an M380, but I mean, technically it is, but it's the AT&T version, so it's the XP-1076. Yeah. I'm sorry, I write things down. My memory stinks sometimes, okay? But yeah, if you want to check out his channel, I highly recommend it. It's great stuff. I'll put a link in the description for the video that I'm referencing and his channel as well. So now, I guess all that's left now is to get this dog back together and boot her up and do something enjoyable with it, like play some games. Alright, let's get her back together. There we go, all set up. Alright, and now we're just going to put everything back together in 3, 2, 1. Boom! Got the machine all set up and ready to go, looking good. Yes, I'm using an IBM keyboard and monitor, but oh well, it works. So now, without further ado, let's boot it up and play with it a little bit. So let's reach down here and hit the power button. There we go. Resident Diagnostics, revision 1.14. Tests everything in here, and it starts booting off the hard drive. Sweet. Made this little message here. Thank you for choosing AT&T. Type Win for Windows 3.0, and C for Norton Commander, and DOS Shell for MS-DOS 5 graphical shell. Let's start with Microsoft Windows. It's Windows 3.0 on it. Let's turn down the brightness a little bit. There we go. It still looks terrible. Let's see if we can do a little better. There we go. That's a little bit better. I do the best I can with these. Whoops. So if we go into games, we got a couple games here. Adversary, Solitaire. Really, there's not a lot, really. Whoops. What did I do? Not really. It's a little buggy. Not really a lot to really show in here. Just, I have Windows on it. Yeah. Accessories, I mean, I got a paintbrush. Hey, that's something fun to play with. Let's see. I used to spend hours just playing on paint when I was a kid. And just whiling hours away, just doodling and just goofing off. Oh, man. Good times, good times. So yeah, figured I'd show you Windows because it's just kind of a thing you do. Now, we do have a couple things on here. Like, I'll show you the AT&T Diagnostic utility I had to use. Basically, let's see. I believe it was interesting getting this to work. Ah, there's the flicker. Oops, I typed it in wrong. There we go. I believe to make it work, I just had to type it in, make it work. There we go. AT&T 6312 WGS system test. Basically, to use this, it kind of works as a BIOS. So, do this. And you can go through this, and you can change different setup utilities. I'm not going to do it here because it is an absolute pain to set up. Mainly because the version I have here, it is not the correct version for this machine, but it's the only one that I could get to work. So, yeah, we can go to the setup utility, at least, and I'll show you. So you can set up everything in the BIOS and all that. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's exit out of here. Exit. We'll let it reboot. And hopefully it didn't try to fiddle with anything. Nope, still good. Yeah, setting this thing up was not the most fun experience in the world, as I've stated before. We did put a couple games on here. Let's see. Both Prince of Persia, Wolfenstein 3D, Catacomb 3D, Hover Tank, Dark Convergence, Bubble Ghost, Catacomb Abyss. You know what? We're going to run Catacomb 3D. Go. Okay, I'm going to have to adjust the flicker a little bit. That's better. There we go. And we're going to start a new game. This is a predecessor to Wolfenstein 3D, and to be honest, it was, by that same token, it was a predecessor to Doom as well. Didn't have the greatest graphics in the world, but considering when this came out, it looked impressive, and even today, it's not bad. I enjoy it. And it's an FPS game that runs well on slow systems. Mid-end 286s and above. Low-end 386s, you name it. They're not bad. But yeah, let's try another game out here. I guess, oh, you know what? We're going to run Test Drive 3 on this. Because this is one of the few machines... Whoa! I had to turn the volume down. This is one of the few machines I have that Test Drive 3 actually runs quite well on. It's just in that sweet spot. The correct answer. 65,000 pounds. Right. If I remember how to do this. There we go. Whoa! What did I do? I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Let's try that again. Gear. There we go. See, it doesn't run too bad. It stays pretty smooth. And there's a cop right there. There we go. Now I can blast off. And here comes the cop. Whee! Oh, jeez. Whoa. If I pay attention a little better, I can control it a little better. It's not too bad. Most machines, it's either way too fast or it's so choppy it's not even funny. This system, it runs quite well, to be honest. And I'm gonna hit somebody. Boom! Good thing this is only a game. Let's see. Oh, before I forget here, let's look at some benchmarks. I know I put some on here. If I didn't, shame on me. Okay, yes I did. Put landmark on here. Come on. Oh, you know what? I have memory things running, so let's reset. And we're going to try that again. Let's see here. There we go. And let me get this thing set so we can run some utilities and benchmarks, and I'll be right back. There we go. Okay, so there's the specs and landmark. 386DX running at 20 megahertz. Awful score, but I wasn't expecting much from this machine when I picked it up, and I still don't. But it's cool. Just not fast by any stretch of the imagination. Now let's see here. I think I had some other stuff on here. Let's see. I have speed sys, top bench. Let's run AMIDiag. Whoops. And there we go. We'll load this thing up. See what our specs are. Let's see. Basic functionality test. Everything really passes on this machine, so let's see. Memory, cache memory test. It does have 128K of external cache. So that's nice to have. Let's see here. PC speaker test, mouse test, video test. Yeah. Let's exit out of here. And let's really quick run, let's run Snooper. I was gonna say, I thought it was just Snooper. Snooper, the system checker. Copyright 1989 to 1994 by John Vias. Let's see. 386DX compatible. 20 megahertz. ISA bus. BIOS is from 1988. MS-DOS 5.0A. And yeah, so there's all that. And let's run, let's see, I think it was Top Bench was the one that I wanted to, yeah, it is Top Bench. Let's import all the machines in the database. And here we go, benchmarking, real-time benchmark. You most closely match the following entry in the database: NEC PowerMate SX16 and IBM PS1 model 2121. Let's see, matched system detail, Intel 286 at 16 megahertz. Yeah. I'm not impressed with the speed of this machine at all. It's got plenty of RAM, but that's about it. That's really the only thing this machine has going for it in terms of speed. But I still like it. It's interesting. It's fun to just goof off, and it was like I said, it was a challenge to get working, but I like challenges. So yeah, that's the AT&T machine. To be honest, like I said earlier, I'm glad it's finished. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's it for the overview of the Olivetti AT&T XP-1076 M380, whatever you want to refer to it as. This was a long and laborious project, but it was very tiring. Good timing. No, it was gratifying, and it was very it was a good feeling to get this thing done. And albeit it was a pain in the neck sometimes, and there was nothing standard about this machine at all compared to other machines I've worked on. But honestly, I'm not going to complain. I did a lot while I was fixing it, but now I'm just looking at it and I'm just... that feeling when you do something that you didn't think you were going to be able to fix and you get it done. It's just a very good feeling, like, wow, I can't believe it. But I couldn't have done it without a lot of people's help. Just motivation. I mean, Sarah, she was a big motivator. You know, you can do it, babe. You can do it. Get her done. Brian, he was very... he and I were both skeptical about the machine. But I got it done, and it was good. And yeah, that guy, TiBo, that I mentioned earlier in the video, his video helped a lot with understanding the ins and outs of these Olivetti-based computers. So yeah, if you're watching this, I appreciate you. Keep up the good work, and love your videos, man. So yeah, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me dive into this old thing as much as I kind of enjoyed digging into it myself. Yeah, if you have any comments on this machine or questions, anything like that, leave them in the comments section down there. I'd love to hear from you. Leave me a like if you like this video, and if you like seeing retro computing videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next video, where I think we're going to be looking at another 386, but this time it's a custom build. And yeah, it's a beast. But that'll be for the next episode. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you in the next video. Catch y'all later. Bye-bye.